Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Nature News, where we highlight seasonal occurrences to help direct your natural discoveries. This week we're going to highlight a group of trees that are quite famous during the holidays. And while we may adorn these trees with our own meaningful ornaments, they have evolved their own special kind of decorative structures that they retain on their branches year-round. So join us as we take a closer look at the lives of our magnificent conifers. Leaves or needles? Which is better? An age-old question that has crossed the minds of many nature enthusiasts. Most, but not all conifers keep their modified leaves, what we call needles, year-round, while their broadleaf tree counterparts shed their leaves in the fall and grow new ones in the spring. So why the difference? Well, if we look specifically at conifers, we see a design that has been around for some 300 million years, clearly a blueprint for success. Evergreen is another name that comes to mind when we think of pines, spruces, and firs, derived from the fact that they remain green year-round with the retention of their needles. However, needles are eventually shed, just not all at once and not every year. Many spruces have needles that remain on the tree for up to a decade. The famous bristlecone pines of the West have needles lasting 20, 30, or even as long as 40 years. But eventually they too are shed and replaced. Holding on to needles during the winter months allows conifers to photosynthesize year-round, as long as temperatures are mild enough and the days long enough, something a broadleaf tree simply cannot do. However, needles must be tough to survive the winter. They are subject to desiccation, drying out, when the air is cold and dry, abrasion from snow and ice is a threat, and browsing by animals that have fewer food sources in the winter. One way conifers help protect their needles is through a waxy covering called a cuticle. This cuticle helps prevent water loss, makes the needles more durable, and makes them less palatable to would-be browsers like deer. Needles are also more slender and compact than leaves. This helps minimize surface area and so reduces water loss. It also enables the needles to place its vascular tissue, through which water moves, deeper in the needle. This keeps the precious water-bearing cells safe from evaporation and potential freezing. A downside to retaining needles in the winter is there is more surface area for heavy snow to accumulate on, thus increasing the risk of limb breaking. However, if you take a closer look at most species of conifer, you will notice they are often conical shape, drooping down with strong but flexible limbs. This is an excellent design for helping to shed snow. So while there may be trade-offs to the conifer design, 300 million years worth of success must mean they're doing something right. And thankfully so, because they provide us with a feeling of comfort and nostalgia all winter long. Thanks for joining us, and remember, every time you step foot outside, there are new discoveries to be made. Happy exploring!